What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe.
Does the draft plan change with any of the signings the Saints have made so far?
I think they can go on the 14 with kind of a clean slate now. Like, it's not like this pressing thing that you have to do. Now, you know, my thing here is like I would still love to see him double dip. And I know in a hurry it makes that room kind of crowded in the short term. But a year from now, like, you might not have Chase Young. You might not have Cam Jordan, depending on what he decides to do with his with his career. I mean, like, the cupboards become empty very, very quickly. Peyton Turner might not be here. Who knows what Foskey's going to look like a year from now? You know, maybe he hits, maybe he doesn't. So I think getting somebody in that pipeline, if they're there, like Versus there, Turner's there, like, I would draft one of those guys still if they're there, but I don't think you have to anymore. I don't think you have to do anything at 14 anymore. Like, if the right receiver's there, if Brock Bowers is there, if you want to trade down and draft, I don't know, Keon Coleman, like, you could do that too. Like, whatever you want to do, I think the door's open for kind of any direction you want to go. So, I think it drastically alters it. It takes that, like, pressing need off like, if they had to field a team right now before Chase Young comes in, like it would have been massive trouble. And I don't know if this, like, changes my win prediction for them, but it makes me feel better about whatever direction they're going. So, yeah, I definitely think it opens up their options at 14.
Last one for me here is O-line the most. I'm not saying draft need, but just in terms of a position group that maybe has to be addressed or fixed or that you got questions about, is offensive line the top of that list?
For me, yeah, that no question. I think it's something they still have to do. Andrews Pete was visiting the Titans, so I mean, I think there's a possibility that he takes off. Now, he's went out on the free agent tour before and brought his offer back, and the Saints met it. I think that might have been in 20. I feel like COVID was going on when that happened. So that's happened before, and he's come back. So it's definitely possible he could do that. But yeah, I think they got to figure something out there. You know, I do think that inside that building, there's more hope on Trevor Penning than there is probably between the three of us talking right now. Like, I have no ability to look at that and say, like, yeah, he could give him something. 'Cause I just haven't seen it, but I know they feel like he's someone that very much could be a starter next year, you know, and they feel like he's going to earn that. So we'll see. But I would definitely try to find someone to bring in and plug that gap. I feel like it's a must, but I don't know if there's the same sense of urgency with the team.
And with this draft being so deep at tackle, like, they wouldn't have to necessarily do what they feel like, you know, always happens in the draft, which is move up and try to reach for a player like this. Tackle depth in this draft. Now, the guard and center position is obviously not as deep, but, like, you would be looking at tackle, don't you think, if you drafted an offensive lineman?
It's super deep, yeah. So I think they could do it without making it like a pressing, got to do this type of move, and you might still be able to address it for sure. You know, if they're somehow able to bring Pete back, I feel a little bit better about that position. And I'm about to be a hypocrite here because, like, I have no reason to believe in Nick Saldiveri because we haven't seen anything. But I don't know, like, I feel like he's going to be good just based off of what we saw in camp last year. I think there's hope for him, and I think the system suits him. I do think that the system suits Penning a little bit better than some of the stuff they were doing last year, even though there's a lot of similarities and crossover. But, you know, I do think that there's a possibility that he could be a little bit better. But, you know, if you're asking me, like, my ideal pick at 14 is an O-lineman. And I know it's boring and it stinks that you got to do it because you keep drafting guys on the line, both lines, over and over and over in the first round. And here you are back again sitting on it. But if they could draft a tackle, because, like, look, Ramczyk comes back and he plays fine, but, like, how much runway is there? Like, the knee isn't going to get better. It's degenerative. It's not going to improve. The issues that hit him last year are only going to get worse going forward. You might be able to pause it, but that pause button is only going to hold for so long. So even if, like, Penning comes and he's great and you draft an O-lineman at 14 and there's maybe not an immediate need for another tackle, there will be very, very soon. So I don't think it's a bad pick, even if it doesn't address what you need right this moment. So I feel like that's still, like, for me, I'd be trying to get an O-lineman there. I just don't think that they're going to view it that way.
Nick Underhill, neworleans.football is the site. The team is locked in for free agency, the offseason whole, the NFL draft. You want to go subscribe. If you are a Saints fan, you owe it to yourself. At Nick_Underhill on Twitter. Nick, thank you so much, my friend.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the two guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.